Okay, oh, I just managed to give myself a shinner in my garage. Let's put that down there. So in the very last video on this channel, we released this monster of a bike. This is my Ibis Ritmo V2. And one of the things that was in that initial video that we've had a ton of questions about is this handlebar right here. And it looks a little different, doesn't it? Well, that's because this is a Fasst Flexx MTB Enduro bar, which has a pivot point here and a pivot point right here, and elastomers that control the damping of the whole thing. So these bars actually pivot and move down and up as you're riding. Why the heck would you want that? Well, Fasst Flexx say Fasst Flexx says these bars should isolate your upper body from abuse and vibration, allowing you to ride longer and charge harder. Okay, so what does that mean? Basically, from what I gather, is that they're trying to help with arm pump, hand soreness, shoulder soreness, all of those types of things that come from riding rough, fast trail. And this is something that I know every single mountain biker has experienced. You're riding down the trail, especially faster or rougher trails, or steeper ones too, anywhere where there's a lot of movement or weight on your hands, and your forearms start to feel like rocks. You have a harder time gripping your bars and your brakes, and a harder time controlling your bike in general. If you can keep your hands and arms fresher and your grip strength up higher throughout your run, that's a pretty big deal. The other part about this bar that I wanted to try out was the fact that it has a 12-degree back sweep. Now you can choose between more of a standard 8-degree back sweep or going with the 12-degree one, which basically means your hands are a little bit more around back like this, which makes a lot of sense to me if you think about it. The wider your bars get, the more your hands are at more of an angle. They're not straight out in front anymore, right? So I contacted Fasst Flexx and they sent me this aluminum MTB Enduro bar with a 12-degree back sweep to try it on the bike to test, and that is what we are going to do today. And we're not just gonna test it against any old handlebar. I've chosen what I have always thought for the last couple years is the gold standard of carbon handlebars out there for vibration damping, and that is the OneUp carbon handlebar. It's ovalized, it's supposed to take out some of that trail chatter as well. We're gonna see if we can go from this to this, notice anything, see any benefits from it whatsoever. And we're gonna do this in two ways. I'm gonna take this to the test track that I've been riding over and over and over again this season. It's fairly close to us. It's a nice length, it's really fast and it's rough. And I'm gonna do 2 measured runs on this handlebar. And what I mean by measured runs are, one, I'm gonna pay attention to how my hands and arms feel throughout both of the runs, but also I wanted some hard numbers too. So we are gonna take this digital grip strength tester machine, and I'm going to test my grip strength at the top of the run and at the bottom of the run for both runs on this and for both runs of the OneUp bar. I think we should be able to get a pretty clear picture of whether this bar is really working or not. And of course, full disclosure portion of the video, both companies sent me their bars. OneUp sent me their bar about a year ago. Fasst Flexx sent me their bar a couple of months ago. There were no expectations for a review video, no money exchanged hands, and neither company is able to see this video before it was published. So all of these thoughts are my own, and boy, I'm really curious to see what those thoughts are gonna be after we do these 4 test runs. Okay, at the top, nice and sweaty. It's a hot day out today. Oh. All right, we're gonna do the grip test. 114.4. Between the testing in these bars and the OneUp bars, I tried to keep absolutely everything possible consistent between the two. So that includes how all my controls were set up on the bars and what angle my brakes were at, down to suspension settings, and even the type of jersey and gloves that I was wearing.
We got a green light. Front wheel. We got a green light. Okay. Haven't actually been on my bike in a while. This is definitely the smoother part of the trail. It's about to get a lot rougher though. This is sort of the newer section. Just about to roll into the old section. You know what that means. Things are gonna get a little more rough. Starting now. Okay. It's so washboard. I always hate how small this rock drop looks on camera. Starting to feel it. Starting to feel something kind of on my 3 fingers, the outside 3 fingers there. A little bit of this rock. That forearms, feeling it. This is kind of steeper. I never know where to go. Damn.
116.6. At the top again for run number 2. That climb is so soul crushing. But here we are, we're at the top. Please excuse the phone footage because I am not hauling a big camera up here for this quick little clip. Let's do the grip test. 116.6. Did I go up? I can't remember. Let's ride some bike. Whoa! 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 Very rough. All right, let's look at some numbers. So for run 1 on the Fasst MTB bars, I started with 114.4 pounds of force, and at the bottom, I finished with 99.6, which is at a change of 12.9% in grip strength. Then for run number 2, I started at the top with 116.6, and at the bottom, I was left with 96 pounds of grip strength for a total loss of 17.7%. I waited 3 days to make sure my hands were nice and fresh, then I tossed on the OneUp bars and headed back to the mountain. Look at me go, 123. Cool, okay. I'm liking these new Camelbacks. As you know, they're one of our new sponsors, and so we've been able to get these new bags from them, which is sweet. This is the new Mule Pro. Yeah, so what I'm really curious to see is, am I gonna immediately notice, you know, off of the first drop I go off of? Is it gonna be that kind of thing? Let's ride bikes. Oh, let's change gears. Okay. Woo. So far I haven't noticed anything drastic, but we also noticed a little bit kind of braking bumps. We also haven't gotten into the rough stuff yet. Oh, felt it there. There's a difference. Through that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, breaking into rough stuff. That's where I'm noticing it the most. When, yeah, it's rough and you got that kind of maximum force on your hands happening over and over and over again so quickly. See what happens here. Ooh. I went really nose heavy. Whoops. That's funny. Done that thing a million times. Oh, rough, 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 rough. Woo. My hands are feeling it more. Like onto the outer ends of my forearms, you know, past my pinky, behind my pinky, that kind of area. Ooh. Into some jank. Okay, starting to feel it even more. I'm trying to pull up. It's like my fingers, they just don't have as much strength. Whew. Try and get this reading done as fast as possible. For my hands, felt it more. My hands are more sore, but those strength tests, those aren't bad. 114. Okay, are you ready? Yeah, I don't feel any difference when pressing into a jump or anything either, which is something that a couple of people have asked me about. I don't feel a difference between the two bars when doing that press. Maybe when I'm landing, but not on the compression on the way up the face.
again, it's moments like this, you can feel the difference for sure. Whew. Yeah, so many more little vibrations, you know? I think that's the key. Ay, 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 ay.
And the results are in. With me on the Fasst MTB bar, I lost 12.9% on the first lap, 17.7% on the second, and with the OneUp bar, I started at the top with 123 pounds of force, and at the bottom dropped to 104.2 for a total loss of 15.3%. And finally, for the last run of the OneUp bar, I started with 111.4 pounds of force, and at the bottom, I wound up with 83.8 for a total strength loss of 24.8%. And I may as well add in, for the Fasst MTB, between the top of run 1 and the bottom of run 2, I had lost 16.1% total grip strength. And then from the top of run 1 of the OneUp handlebar test to the bottom of run 2, I lost 31.9% of total grip strength, almost double. Well, it looks like the handlebars do what they say they're gonna do. That's always nice, right? So going from those tests, it's clear to see that when you're doing fast, rough runs, I am not losing as much grip strength with this bar as I was with the other carbon handlebar, which, by the way, is worth saying again that I believe that that OneUp bar is the best standard sort of handlebar out there. So I'm quite certain that if we compared the Fasst Flexx bar to a standard handlebar that isn't ovalized, we'd see even more of a difference. So is this bar for everybody? I don't know, I'm not everybody. But for me, as far as my bike builds goes, when it comes to a bike like this, and as a person who doesn't have, specific issues with their hands and their arms and their shoulders, I think it fits really great on a bike like this, especially if I'm gonna be doing enduro racing or longer park laps. Man, if I'm going to Whistler for a few days in a row, I want this bar. 100%. If I'm doing race runs, 100%. I think about the top of the world race run I did a couple of years ago. That was a 30+ minute race stage. I would have given anything to have had that bar on that day. But if I'm building a super lightweight trail cross-country bike for my local trails, I probably wouldn't choose this bar just because of the weight, and I wouldn't necessarily need that kind of damping for my own hands and arms on the local trails. But I would choose a bar with the 12-degree back sweep still. As far as these tests goes, it tells me that if you ride lots of rough trails, and especially longer trails, and you like to keep your hands as fresh as possible, these bars are worth a look. And now we've got to give away that $100 Jensen USA gift card, and I'm just gonna go onto the last YouTube video of ours, and I'm going to randomly scroll around and just stop it with my thumb. Whichever comment is closest, that's gonna be the winner, as long as they say something about wanting to win something from Jensen USA. And stop. Okay, closest one to my thumb is Andrea Wood. Congrats, Andrea Wood. She says, loving the ride wrap. I would put that Jensen card towards some new carbon handlebars. Topical. $100 goes quick on MTB parts and gear. You better believe it does. Congrats, Andrea Wood. Shoot us a private message over on our Instagram, and we will get you set up with that online gift card for Jensen USA. Well, that's about it for this video. If you have any other kind of new, interesting, crazy-looking mountain bike tech that you'd like me to test out, let me know down in the comment section. I'm always down for that. Thanks for watching the video, for hitting that like button. That really helps. And subscribe if you haven't. We'll see you in the next video, everybody. Cheers.